Good morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name is Ross, and as always told out of Voice of Radio. So today, we're going to be taking a little bit of a look at a card that went and did very, very well in Japan. How well? Well, in a tournament with 1,600 people, Kota Omura went and got top 4 with Blastoise and Piplup. And if that's not incredibly well, I don't know what is. Well, obviously winning is, but you know what I mean. So, what deck are we talking about and how good actually is it? Well, it is very much a Tag Team GX deck. It is a full-bore Tag Team GX deck. And it's all built around, well, a lot of it's built around Blastoise and Piplup. Now, Blastoise and Piplup is one of these new Tag Team GXs. It's a very, very nice one of my favourites, and the main draw here for 2 water, 1 colourless energy, 150 damage, and you may attach up to 3 water energy from your hand to your Pokemon in any way that you like. Cool. So the real goal of this deck is to get free energy on a Blastoise and Piplup, and as soon as you get free energy on a Blastoise and Piplup, you can attack, and that should set you up for the rest of the game. It's also a nice little bonus that Reshiram and Charizard will be fairly nicely one-hit KO'd by this attack as well. And that deck is everywhere. Cool. So, that's the main Pokemon, but we have a few others as well. We have Arceus and Dialga and Palkia Tag Team GX. Now, we've seen this coming up a little bit. This is a very, very good card and was featured in the winning deck as well, so start taking it seriously. And what it does for 1 water, 1 metal, 1 colourless energy, it does 150 and you search your deck for up to 3 basic energy and attach them to your Pokemon in any way that you like. Wow! We are not struggling for energy here. Like, not even a little bit. Blastoise and Piplup accelerates energy, Arceus and Dialga accelerate energy. It really is just the first lot of energy we're looking for here, and we are off and rolling. Now, in terms of GX attack, Arceus and Dialga and Palkia is my favourite of them. It basically says, for 1 metal energy, your attacks do 30 more for the rest of the game. That's all your Pokemons. And for a water and a metal, all your attacks do 30 more for the game, and every time you take a KO with an attack, you take an extra prize. Yeah, that's pretty gosh darn powerful. Blastoise and Piplup can do 100 plus paralysis for 3 energy, or 250 plus paralysis for 6 energy. It's not as good. Now, we do also have Mega Lopunny and Jigglypuff. Now, Mega Lopunny and Jigglypuff is another one that we see popping up all over the place. For 3 colourless energy, bearing in mind both your main attackers accelerate energy, you do 60 damage base, plus 60 for each of your opponent's EX or GX Pokemon. So as soon as your opponent plays a few EX or GX Pokemon, you can start smashing beautifully with this. And it's kind of lovely. And then there's one Mewtwo and Mew. Now, Mewtwo and Mew's been great since it came out. We love this card. It lets you copy the attacks of any GX Pokemon either on your field or in your discard pile. And this basically does 3 things. Number 1, it allows you to hit Psychic Weakness against things like Mewtwo and Mew. Number 2, it gives you a 3rd different weakness. Blastoise and Piplup, weak to grass. Arceus, Dialga and Palkia, weak to fairy. This, weak to psychic, covers your weakness even more. Actually 4th, because Mega Lopunny and Jigglypuff is weak to fighting. But it also allows you to use non-basic Pokemon. And there is one you use here, and it is the Greninja GX from Detective Pikachu. How cool is that? Now, this Greninja GX from Detective Pikachu, it's got a really nice ability whereby you can play it down onto your bench and draw 3 cards if it's your last card in hand. That's kind of cool. We like it for that. But you can also just discard it and use it when it's in the discard pile. The choice is up to you. But the main point of this is 1 water, 1 colourless energy, 130, goes through any effects on the defending Pokemon. And really this is there for stuff like, well, Alola Ninetales, which would otherwise be immune because it blocks GXs to every single Pokemon in your entire deck. That's quite scary. But now with this, you can either use Greninja by playing it to the bench, even though it's a stage 2, if it's the last card in your hand, or you can copy it with Mewtwo and Mew, you're fine. And that's it. That's your Pokemon line. That Greninja is the only non-tag team you actually play. Now, here's the thing. We are talking about a Japanese deck list, and generally speaking, as with most of these, there's not a huge amount there, which is a huge problem in terms of loss. But there is one card here, and there is a card here, which is a fairly big loss in terms of Japan has it and we don't, and it's Aqua Patch. Not having Aqua Patch is a bit of an issue. Aqua Patch lets you attach a water energy from your discard pile to one of your benched water Pokemon, and I've already told you that as soon as you get the first free energy on Blastoise and Piplup, you're golden. And you don't have Aqua Patch. And that is a bit of an issue. It's a fairly large issue, if I'm honest with you. The deck, other than that, is fine. But please do bear in mind that Aqua Patch is very important for this deck. And we don't have it. You can adapt the deck a little bit to play it in Standard. You can play it as is in Expanded. But please just bear in mind, we don't have Aqua Patch. But we do have Clay, and Clay here is brilliant. Clay lets you discard the top 7 cards of your deck, and any item cards you discard you can put in your hand. It is great for digging, and there's a bunch of cards we want to dig for. Obviously Aqua Patch, but there's a whole bunch of others. And this is a very item-heavy deck. It's a phenomenally item-heavy deck. By my calculations, we got 42 trainers. 9 of them are supporters, so that means that there are 33 trainer cards, and Clay is the biggest supporter in the deck, incidentally, 4 of them out of the 9 total. Clay as an engine to grab your items here is huge. Now there's also a couple of Coach Trainer. Coach Trainer, lovely card. It lets you draw 4 cards if your active Pokemon is a tag team, which it almost certainly will be. And then 2 copies of Cynthia and Caitlyn. Now this is one of those new tag team the tag team supporters, not GXs, which we're going to be getting in Cosmic Eclipse along with, Blastoise and Piplup. And basically Cynthia and Caitlyn lets you get a supporter card from your discard pile into your hand, and then you can discard a card from your hand and draw 3 cards. Given how great Clay is at grabbing your item cards, this is most often going to be used to grab Clay. Cool. And then 1 copy of Guzma, but that's rotated out, don't worry too much about it. It's not a huge loss. Now in terms of items, there are loads. We've got 4 Pokegear, great for finding your supporter cards. We've got 4 Aqua Patch, as previously mentioned. We've got 3 Tag Switch. Switches energy from your tag team Pokemon to another of your Pokemon. Great for when you get one rolling and want to switch to another. 3 Tag Whistle, which will search out, or Tag Call as I generally call it. It could be called either. It's a Japanese and a translations. Antoine uses Tag Call, but David goes for Tag Whistle. Either will be fine. We'll see what it calls over here. Searches out 2 tag team cards, whether they are supporters or GXs. So yeah, helps you get Cynthia and Caitlyn, as well as stuff like Blastoise and Piplup. 2 Acrobike as just a little bit of extra draw power. Look at the top 2 cards of your deck, 1 in your hand, discard the other. 2 Great Catcher, which is the majority of our gusting here. Only Gust an EX or a GX, but it's still pretty good. Couple of Reset Stamps, sees play in every single deck. Great as a comeback card if your opponent goes ahead. 2 Energy Spinner, which is really good for searching out energy. It gets you 1 generally, but 3 on your first turn if you go second. But bearing in mind, if you do go second, you're going to play Clay most of the time, especially with 4 Pokegear. So it's really likely you're actually going to get this. Couple of Escape Rope to act as switching cards, and also makes your opponent switch. Yes, that's rotated over here, but it's easily changed for something else. And 1 Actual Switch, which we do still have. 1 Rescue Stretcher, which is a little bit of a pain that we've lost it, but there's plenty of other cards we can use to get your Pokemon back, like Lana's Fishing Rod. 1 Field Blower, it's rotated, everyone's lost it, it's not a big deal. 1 Pal Pad to get your supporter cards back. That's pretty good. 1 max potion and 1 choice band. We have lost both of these. They're decent cards, but they're not game-breaking cards. I wouldn't worry too much about them. And then 1 Island Challenge Amulet. That is the new tool card, whereby you lose 100 HP, but you give up 1 fewer prize if you're KO'd by damage. Really nice for trying to turn the prize trade into your favour. We're losing a few cards here, but really the only one we care about is Aqua Patch. Everything else, either everyone's lost or it's easily replaced, and it's really not a big deal, but it is a big deal that we're losing Aqua Patch. Shout out to the lovely folks over at limitlesstcg.com for hooking us up with the deck list. I love this deck, and I'll certainly be testing it. In Expanded, it's great. In Standard, we do need to solve the Aqua Patch problem. But when a Blastoise and Piplup deck gets top 4 out of 1,600 people, that's the kind of thing that makes me sit up and take a little bit of notice. But at this stage, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to know what you think about this deck, so please let me know in the comment section. Go nuts! Be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWassy, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCG Radio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all that, head on over to patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can do exactly that. And please do make sure you're checking out youtube.com/WassyPlays, where we talk about a whole bunch of games that don't even have any Pokemon in. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time. Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.